our dreams over bacon and eggs. We'll share a laugh and a story and even a wish on the breakfast dish. Bop, 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 bop.
Prince Ali, gracious as he, Ali Ababa. 1,000 bad guys with swords.
You can't start a song from Aladdin without finishing it.
Doing a song, like surprising you with a song, I think is the only way that I'm going to get a word in edgewise on this podcast. So
Can you make it a Neil Diamond song?
I can. It's the only song that you don't like.
No, you know more. You know Kentucky Woman.
I know, but the Sweet Caroline is what I know the words most to, for sure. Because everybody does. Or, one second. So, sorry, 1 second.
I'll be what I am, ba 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 ba, solitary man, ha ha ha.
I love you. Everybody, that is my son.
That's actually probably my favorite song, Solitary Man.
That's my son, Griffin Cork. My name is Karen Johnson Diamond, obsessed with Neil Diamond.
That's Karen. This is Karen Johnson Diamond. This is her podcast.
It's a podcast that I share with my son called The Breakfast Dish. And this is episode 29 of The Breakfast Dish. Am I right there, son?
Yeah, this is, yes. And you've given me a meager slice, and thank you for letting me live on this island.
I'm going to give you a big slice of the island right now. Tell everybody what we do on this island.
Oh, Breakfast Dish. For those of you who don't know, we talk about digital, online, socially distant art that's happening. We like to talk to the people doing it. We want to learn about them. And also, man, it's crazy to do something from live event to now to go to online. And we want to figure out how the crap you're doing that.
Watch your language.
Sorry, I'll restart. Just kidding. I will never. You gave me this, and now I'm the boss. We like to kind of talk about breakfast, but mostly it's about the online, digital, socially distant art.
That is exactly right. Based on Breakfast Series, a Facebook series I had going where I would have breakfast with somebody and then talk about them on Facebook. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like our guest today had actual in-person breakfast with me when I was up in the beautiful city of Fort McMurray. So I'm going to introduce our guest, and then we're going to talk about how great she is. Ladies and gentlemen, Artistic Director of Theatre Just Because in Fort McMurray,
Prince Ali, gracious is he, Ali Ababa.
Hanna Fridhed. How did I do, Hanna?
Hi, everyone. You did amazing.
Yeah, we should have her say it how it's actually said.
How do you say your last name in Swedish?
Fridhed.
Well, I was really
so cool.
Close.
Oh my God.
And even my name isn't actually Hanna, it's Hanna. But feel free to say Hanna, that's perfectly fine.
I've been saying it since I met you 4 years ago.
And that's the way it works well with the English language. I don't mind being called Hanna one bit. I actually prefer it most of the time.
Isn't she lovely? Hanna once introduced me to the best coffee shop. What was the name of it again, where we went for those sandwiches?
Ooh, Mitchell's.
Mitchell's. That's in Fort McMurray.
It's a Fort McMurray staple. If you come to Fort McMurray, you have to go to Mitchell's and have a cup of coffee and try their sunshine bread.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Sunshine bread. Oh my God.
It's so good.
That's my folk pop album.
It does taste and look like sunshine, if sunshine had a taste.
It sounds like a Neil Diamond song, actually. Sunshine bread.
Kind of does.
He's got crunchy granola sweet. He's got
a field, sunshine bread.
Porcupine pie.
That was Neil Diamond. For those of you who've never heard of Neil Diamond, I want you guys to know that was spot on.
Spot on.
That was uncanny what I just did.
Spot on. So here we are in our morning having breakfast with Hanna from Fort McMurray. Hanna, tell us.
No.
What? She just finished saying she'd rather have Hanna.
She let you in on this, and now you're abusing it.
Would you please tell us all about Theatre Just Because?
Theatre Just Because we are an independent, semi-professional, I would say, but we do a lot of community theatre too. Theatre company up in Fort McMurray. We were founded in 2014, so we've been around for a few years now. Like being around since 2014 in Fort McMurray means you're quite ancient.
Yeah.
Honestly. Things have a very short turnaround period up here. But we've been able to accomplish quite a lot in the past, oh goodness, doing math in the morning, 7 years.
And I'm right that you're only like one of 3 theater companies in Fort McMurray. It's just
Yes.
and Keanu, and then who else?
Symmetry Theater.
Thank you. Yes.
They are a fantastic, fairly new theater company. They've had a little bit of a hiatus now, but I can't wait to see what's coming out of them in the future.
I think everybody has a major hiatus right now, except if you have decided to put an awesome workshop series online. And in fact, I pushed you to record this week so that we could release it on Monday and not miss out on your very first workshop, which of course is one of my favorite topics, led by one of my hilariously favorite people.
Actually, we've been doing workshops now since October.
I'm a dummy. I missed the 2020 workshops. Now we're talking about the 2021 workshops. Can I be forgiven?
And we've already had one this year.
Dang it! What did you have?
Ooh, altogether, just 2021.
Just 2021.
We can't handle all together. Just sugarcoat it for us.
2021, we did acting for film with John Cupid.
John Cupid is a very good name. John Cupid.
He used to be known as DJ Cupid because he's a DJ, he's an actor, he is a writer and a painter.
DJ Cupid.
Oh, yeah.
Spinning these tracks.
Is he a Fort McMurrayan?
He's been here for quite a while now. He's not born and raised, but yeah, he's been around for quite a while. He's been in a few of our dinner theaters for Theatre Just Because. And he's done a lot of independent productions. He's just finished filming his first short film.
I pride myself in thinking that I know all the actors in Fort McMurray after working up there twice. But obviously, I don't.
You probably know quite a majority of them, to be honest. We're a small group, but we do a lot. And we're always super excited as soon as someone new joins us. It's almost like a little party. And since we did Evil Dead like a year and a half ago now, as soon as someone does join us, half of us go, join us. Or that might just be me. But still.
Fort McMurray has a brilliantly vibrant art scene. So I remember when I was up there working the last time, Diana Moser, who was representing Arts and Wood Buffalo, I think, Arts and Wood Buffalo?
Arts Council Wood Buffalo.
Arts Council Wood Buffalo took me around on a tour for the day to all things artsy. So she took me to the fabulous theater that was built in the high school, and I got to walk on the grid, which was bouncy like a trampoline, and it was freaky and scary. And she took me to a pottery studio. Like, there's so many things. And I guess having never been there, you just go, what else is going on in that city? But there's so much going on.
There really is. There's always something. I mean, it's a little bit different now, as it is for everyone. And the arts community has taken quite a hit. We had to cancel the large production series that Keanu does usually every year, of course. I was mostly musicals as well, so that was a difficult one. And 2 of our most famous art stores had to close down in the past year. Campbell's Music has been around for 30 years, and Points North Gallery, which has also been around for 30, 40 years or so. That was a bit of a hit.
I think Diana took me to Points North, too.
Yeah, it was beautiful. There's still a framing company next to where they used to be, but the art they had on display there, and they used to have little events, beautiful artists from across the region. It's one of my favorite spots. I could very rarely afford to buy art from there, but when I could, oh boy, was I happy. All my money has gone into art the past few years. You can't walk into my living room, or there's no more wall space in my living room. Let's just say that.
That makes you an excellent human being. I'm sorry, buddy. Just bump in here whenever you want. I'm dominating the conversation because I haven't talked to Hannah in years.
I would never. Sorry, my liege. I will only speak when I am spoken to. Please keep my family safe.
Okay, Karen. So how did you raise him? Because I need to learn these tricks.
It's true, because our friend Hannah is expecting a bebe. So I'll tell you what you do.
What you do is you make sure that your dirks and daggers are very, very sharp. And you invite House Griffin to a wedding of some sort. And you make him bring all his bannermen and kind of, trick them and get them a little bit drunk and get them some nice haggis or some nice food. And then have all your crossbowmen waiting on the edge of the wedding room. And then kill all of my bannermen and put a dagger to my throat. And then... demand fealty.
But you see, I'm from the people of access more than anything, and fabulous facial hair. So I'll just bring that.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
And see what we can do. And we also have the infamous hammers and such. And no, the hammer of Thor is not square. I do not know how this happened. And I just watched Endgame for the first time a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
And what does Captain America do with the hammer? Why? Just why?
It is there's the whole lore set up that no one else can pick up the hammer, which I think is accurate in lore, if I'm right about that.
It's a thing, yeah.
So
no one but Thor
all of a
can.
Sudden, yeah, Captain America's worthy and I guess strong enough, even though he runs around with the dinner plate of America. That's his weapon.
Yep.
Yeah,
That sounds about right. It was. I have a hard time watching the Avengers just because it bothers me quite a lot when they butcher Thor so much. He does they got his personality down. Only the Thor I know has red hair and more of an anger management issue than the American Thor does. I do agree with that when they cut his hair off. It went from, what on earth is this, to, okay, well, I'll listen, I'll approve for a bit here. Yes, I'm in this for the dialogue, yes.
What actual shape is his hammer?
I do know. I actually have a necklace that my father gave me.
Rhombus, trapezoid.
Yeah, sorry, Karen. Feel free to jump in whenever you want.
I'm trying to show them here with my hands, which is obviously not translating well to a podcast.
That's all right. Well, this is described audio. Go ahead.
It doesn't look like a hammer per se. It's more of it's got the handle.
She's making a fist.
And then if you imagine like an axe with two axe heads on either side.
So now she's holding her hands close together, kind of like bear claws. Yeah.
Yes. But they're not sharp. They're more non-sharp axe heads on the sides. And they usually have inscriptions and stuff on them.
From her hand's description, I believe that Thor's hammer looks very much like the fetus that is inside her belly right now.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
She's like, here's a big...
This podcast, yeah, sure. She's doing heads. She also said an axe head with two blades. And then you said, that looks like the fetus in her belly.
Maybe she's having a kick-ass baby.
A very sharp, dangerous baby.
Probably.
I have to jump in here for a second and say, my heart is full of what the whole breakfast series, breakfast dish does, which is that moment when Hanna and Griffin, who've never met each other, all of a sudden start talking in Avenger lore or whatever that Game of Thrones that was. I have no idea. But then you can see the moment when they both click and go, oh, we both know these things. And both of them like leaned further into the camera and closer to their mics.
Don't you dare try to relate us, Mother. You killed all my bannermen. House Cork is ruined because of you. You absolute tyrant.
And I'm going to guess you have no dragons.
Of course, I would never. I couldn't.
Hanna, this is how you raise the good kid. You play Neil Diamond ad nauseum. As soon as they will sit in front of the neglect division for as long as possible, you put on Sesame Street because it's genius.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I used to call it.
That's a good little peek into my life right there.
Yeah, but Sesame Street, like seriously, my kid is brilliant because of Sesame Street. Not because of me, not because his father's a genius. It's because of Sesame Street.
We also, a great game that was like kind of stuck in my head from my childhood that I think really turned me to the person I am today is we'd have this little game outside where I would kind of run around the backyard and Mother would like whip rocks at me so hard and I would have to like kind of dodge them. So yeah, it became very agile. That was our favorite game. It was called I'm Mad at You Today.
I can play this game. I feel it in my soul. We do have a trebuchet set up in the backyard.
Yeah, perfect.
So I feel this can translate well into motherhood.
Yeah. If you sling the kid in that and then fire it and just go like, I promise I'll catch you, and then truly like do your best, but who knows,
Who knows? Knowing what this kid's going to be, I'm never going to be able to catch it ever.
They're devastating, but the French haven't really got the accuracy down.
People that don't know us are going to think that I was an abusive parent now.
No. It's for me it was like our other fun Sunday game. Can my son be a battery? So yeah, it was a lot of hookups and volts and whatnot. And I never could. Griffin never won that one.
Oh, I was just going to ask, like, don't leave us hanging here. Well, maybe this is a project that needs to be rebooted again.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Rebooted. Yeah. That's what she yelled at me for sure.
Okay. I have a question. Speaking of Griffin with a potato in his mouth as a battery, and maybe this is none of my business, so you can say, Karen, it's none of your business, but do you have any possible names picked out? And do you want to share them or no?
We do have possible names picked out, but we're not sharing them. We're being those guys. But we are calling it Newt. after the little child and the alien.
That's nice.
Also, newts are really cute.
Also, Newt from Hercules. See, I can speak lore too. I'm glad to have a friend like Hercules,
I've only watched that show once when I was an adult.
Oh,
Yeah, wait a minute. I'm thinking of the movie.
No, there was actually a Canadian, I think it's Canadian, a little cartoon called Hercules, and they have
his name was Newton. He was the, what do you call it? Half deer, half person.
Satyr?
fawn.
Is it the tiny kind of Danny DeVito thing in the Hercules movie?
I'm pretty sure if you go up to Pan's Labyrinth, it's totally a fawn.
There's people listening to this podcast right now that are just screaming the answer at us.
Fawn! Fawn! How did they not know?
Okay.
Who put the gladiator?
You know what else they're they're screaming? They're screaming, I listened to this so I could take some workshops from theater just because.
Thor's hammer is fine.
Would you tell me about some of the workshops that you have coming up, please, Hannah?
Sure can. Well, the one we have on the 27th is Say Yes, Improv for Youth with Zachary Barrett. Zach is a theater artist, performance artist, stage manager. He has his own media company, is one of those jacks of many trades, and all of them he does very well.
And he's been doing improv in Fort Mac forever, right?
Oh, forever. He ran a theater company, an improv company, for about a while there, Thunderstruck Improv. They're not around anymore, but he still has been doing improvs for 15 years. So he's teaching a workshop for youth. And we have modified it a bit because that's one of the workshops we've been trying to, when possible and safe, to actually do smaller workshops in person.
I was going to ask that.
So we were trying to figure out how to do an improv workshop for youth that was still interesting and engaging, but still safe. So we're obviously putting all the kids outside in Fort McMurray during the winter.
Fort McMurrayans are tough in the winter, boy.
Oh, yeah. And it's practically summertime here. It's like -5.
So you're going to do an outdoor class. That's great. That's a great idea.
Going to do it outdoors. And I'm assuming that I am completely blanking right now. The whoosh, the little whoosh that you pass around each other in the group. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a snowball. I hope it will be. Gosh, I hope it will be.
Oh my gosh. You know what? A good improviser will find all the ways to use snow.
Maybe face down, because that would be funny.
Yes, let's all do backwards snow angels. You teach one right after that, don't you?
We're gonna do still waters, so everyone lay in the snow and be quiet, or you lose.
Just quiet time. Shh.
If I see you move, you're out of the workshop. So everyone. Okay, what are the rest of the workshops?
You've got the next one coming up.
So the one coming up afterwards is actually one that I'm teaching. It's called Acing the Audition. And it's primarily for people who's never auditioned or are nervous or just want to polish up their skills in auditioning. So that's going to be fun. That's one of those, it can be adapted and done online if restrictions and common sense says that's the best choice. But currently we are hopeful that it will be a very small but engaging workshop in person. We've been super lucky when we first put this workshop series together. The vision was for it to be in person to engage our artists, because that's one of the biggest downsides with Fort McMurray is that we have no post-secondary arts education whatsoever. There used to be a theater and music program and dance program and everything, and then that was axed. And then there used to be a music instrument repair program, which was axed. And there, up until very recently, was a printmaking course as well. And you can guess what happened to that.
Axe of Thor.
Axe of Thor. Not enough. Axe of Thor would have been kind of cool. This was just the boring. We're just going to remove it from the curriculum. But we used to have a lot up here, and now we have nothing. And the theater, or the Keanu Theater Productions, is basically a master class that you take as an amateur actor, which is a great development opportunity, but that's only for actors, really. And it's only if you are lucky enough to get cast, which isn't always the case, no matter how awesome you are. So theater, just because we were created to try to fill that gap, to find development opportunities, education opportunities for local artists of all levels, like someone who's never done it and just interested, or someone who's been in thousands of shows and knows all the ropes, but still wants to learn something new, because you never know what you learn at a workshop. So this season we went in with the idea of we want to engage as many artists as possible, like not a niche not a niche theme at all, but just as wide as we possibly could, and use as many local artists to facilitate these workshops as possible. And it's been really successful, actually.
Can I ask you where the name came from? Theater Just Because? Do you know?
Because we do theater just because.
It's great.
Yeah, that was Michelle Thorne and Dana Ray Vasiuk that came up with that.
That's something I've always felt, though, in only my 2 stints up in Fort McMurray, though, is that attitude of we do it because it's our passion and it's fun. And if an audience comes, that's even a bonus. Like, it's just, there's that camaraderie between the people in the cast. Well, you know what? I've only seen, I think, 2 Theater Just Because shows, but still, I just feel like the community up there is so tight and supportive. I'm not surprised to hear you saying we're going to engage our local actors and we're going to, bring up some more actors, because it's such a great community.
It really is. And it's absolutely wonderful. I don't know if you remember this, but it's a journey I've been following for a few years now. And you were there for the start of it. It was a local actor who is middle-aged, has several children, is a single parent. And they came out and tried out for Footloose. Never done this before, just gave it their all and got cast in a smaller part. That person is now one of the most prolific actors we have in town.
Yep.
They're just kept right on going. And every show I see them in, they're just that little bit sharper, little bit more nuanced. And it's just beautiful. You sit there and go, yes, yes.
Am I right that I put them in roller skates for their very first role ever?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you did. And they were actually a little too good to roller skate poorly, because they were so efficient at roller skating.
You need to look bad at roller skating.
That's kind of the epitome of Fort McMurray artists. So many just start not because we have education and training or done it a million times before, just because it's a passion and it's a drive and it's a dream for so many. It becomes the thing you do to keep you happy and alive.
And for so many, like that particular artist, as well as the artist who played the lead in Christmas Carol, it's a family affair. So often they are in the show and their kids are in the show too. And it becomes this great, it's just beautiful. I love Fort McMurray.
It's really not what people expect. It wasn't what I expected at all. I had no expectations whatsoever, because I'd never heard about it before I moved here. Right from Sweden.
Right from Sweden to Fort McMurray.
Hello, everybody. Herpty derp. Because that's obviously how Swedes actually speak, yes.
Okay, anyway. I'm
Sorry,
getting us
yes.
off topic again. Griffin, did you have anything to say? Mummy allows you right now to talk.
Oh, thank you, my lady. I'm wondering if my farm can have a few more seeds for our crop.
No.
And also give me all of your rice, because I might starve now during the hunger.
Oh, no, we don't have any rice. You told us to make wheat.
Are you as disappointed as I am, Karen?
You can take one of my fingers again. That's fine. We'll play can my farmers be a battery?
Griffin, honey, some of these workshops might end up being online, and maybe I'll be able to take them. So let's hear about the rest.
Sorry.
Well, the next one after acing the audition would be the Art of Drag with Simma Down. Oh, Simma is amazing. She's a local drag performer, and she does a lot of makeup and various looks on Instagram right now. Highly recommend checking it out. Simma Down, and she's just hilarious. So she's teaching an introductory workshop in the Art of Drag. And then afterwards, we have a workshop called Safe on Stage, the Art of Falling, with Brody Johnson-Tavicius. He is a fight director and a fight choreographer, highly skilled. He's one of those people that whenever you need fight anything done in town, you go to Brody. And I know not a lot of people understand this workshop, I think, what it's about, because falling is easy, right? You just fall down. Wrong.
Nope.
If you've ever had to fall intentionally on stage and make it look in any sort of way without hurting yourself, it's actually quite hard. And then you have to do it again and again and again and again. And you would prefer not to be black and blue, which I as an actor, I tend to throw caution to the winds, to the dismay of my directors. So I'm always one of those people who walk away with ginormous bruises all over because I didn't take precautions. But I should listen to Brody more often. I remember a show I did with Brody a few years ago. We actually had the first read today, 3 years ago. Nurse Jane Goes to Hawaii. And I played the infamous Nurse Jane / Vivian Bliss, who narrates this story. And at one point, through the big chaotic fighting scene towards the end, I had to jump off, I had to slap someone, jump off a desk, do a ninja roll, army crawl, fall behind a sofa, a couple more heroic acts, and then I got kicked on the stairs. So it was quite chaotic. And at one point during rehearsals, I couldn't really army crawl anymore because everything was bruised and hurting. So they had to put knee pads on me. Yeah, so I had my knee pads on, but they had to come off because, of course, I did all of this wearing a pink negligee. Naturally.
Right, I guess with Vivian Bliss.
Yeah. And she was quite innocent, which was her main selling point, that she was just very oblivious and innocent.
Okay, make 'em laugh, stand 'em up comedy, Cindy Rivers.
Yeah, that's an introductory course to stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy has been very big here in town for a few years, but a lot of the comedians have moved away. Like, we've lost several of them, but I know there are some really funny people here. So this is an introduction to come out and try it.
And I love that it's a lady teaching it.
Yeah, Cindy Rivers, she is a stand-up comedian. She was based in Fort McMurray. I think she's actually in Edmonton now, but she will come up for the workshop or will do it online, depending on what works best. This is a workshop series that has been very flexible, moving between in-person, online, or unfortunately as the one. Cindy's was supposed to be the last one of the season and kind of wrap it all up with a laugh. First you fall with Brody and then you laugh with Cindy. But we also have 2 workshops. One isn't in front of me right now, but we had 2 workshops that were postponed because they really should be in person. One of them is Unlocking the Body, the Art of Warming Up with Patty Dwyer. And Patty Dwyer is a beautiful performance artist who has a very great sense of movement and breathing and being present in arts. And I think, so that was one of those workshops we really wanted to be in person. So we postponed that one, hoping for better non-COVID times.
Yep.
And then we also have another improv workshop with Zachary Barrett, but for adults.
Yay!
Yeah, so those 2 are the ones we don't have
18
dates
plus, XXX improv. Here we go.
You can never have too much improv, ever.
for. Never have too much
Late
improv.
night improv.
And we were looking at that. I discovered these on your website, theaterjustbecause.com. There's a big button, workshops. And then I clicked on it, and it was easy for me to find the dates and times of everything.
Hooray!
And a little peek behind the breakfast dish Zoom call. You mentioned you had a few other projects coming up. Do you want to touch on those quickly?
Of course. Actually, one is happening pretty much right after this interview, and it's one of the firsts that we're doing. I'm really excited. It's a tailgate play reading. So we are 9 people, 10 including myself, that are meeting up outdoors. It was supposed to be a tailgate, but it seems like it's going to be a little bit more of a sitting around a campfire and reading a play together.
That's a great idea.
I'm super excited. We were supposed to do it a couple weeks ago as an actual tailgate, but that turned out to be, of course, the coldest day of the season.
I think that's a series that should continue. No matter COVID or not, I think it should continue, that people at Fort Mac just gather around a fireplace or a campfire once in a while and just hear a play reading. What else is up?
We actually announced the first full-length play to be produced in Fort McMurray since COVID started, or in the past year now. The last play that went up was Flashdance, the musical at Keano Theatre. And we announced that we are doing a drama this summer called Purge by an author called Sofi Oksanen from Finland. And it's an Estonian, very dark, very interesting piece, focusing a lot on survival after oppression and during oppression, what oppression does to the psyche, our innate will and need to survive almost through anything. Sex trafficking, prostitution, sexual abuse. This is a pretty dark play, but it's got some of the most well-developed, interesting characters I have ever encountered in theater. It's a beautiful piece.
And who's directing that beautiful piece?
Me! Because no one in Canada has ever heard about it.
But that's great, though. Like, bringing in work we don't know about I love that.
It's so good. And we're actually, part of why we chose this script as well is we're trying to keep it as safe as possible, of course, and adhere to all the guidelines and restrictions. And this play has a very small cast. And it also very rarely features more than 2 actors at one point on stage. You can also be very abstract with it and play with distancing and masks and things like that. And we're also including a lot of elements into the process, like live streaming rehearsals for those who can't and shouldn't be there. And we're having virtual performances, as well as hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood, hoping to have a few live performances as well. But that's not really something we can control at this point.
All of my fingers are
So,
crossed.
just...
Okay, well, we touched a little bit about your awesome website. Where else can people go to check out what you guys are doing? What social medias, anything like that?
Well, have you heard? But there's this new super fun platform called Facebook.
Oh, I've heard.
I don't know if you ever. I know it's pretty new. It's
I'm listening. Is it like TikTok?
No. TikTok is for people that haven't developed the grace and the wrinkles yet.
Sure.
I am not there.
Got it.
No, but we are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Just Theater Just Because, and you will see our little raven.
Everybody look for the raven. Follow, quote the raven. Follow the raven. Okay, man.
Evermore.
This is why Karen took the podcast. I'm sorry, everybody.
No. Dig your own grave there, boy.
No, I mean, come on. Let me double back from that. And how about you, Hannah? Do you have any personal social medias you want to plug?
Sure. I got a blog.
Yeah.
That is half active, half not. I'm coming out of a 3-year writer's block right now. But it's just fridhed.com. So that's my surname.com. I am on Instagram and Twitter and such, but I just mostly post cat memes. And I actually looked back on my Instagram a few days ago, and I realized how much it had changed over the past year. It used to be pretty much just photos of me with people at rehearsals, at opening nights, enjoying things and being goofy. And now it's just selfies, man.
Well, you have a beautiful belly to be showing to the world.
I actually just showed that to the world last week.
Yeah, I know. So now it's got to be bellies. What do you call them? Not selfies, belfies.
Oh, I call them bump dates.
Nice. Bump takes.
Bump
Nice.
is better than belfies. Belfies is... Yeah, Karen's slowly losing her throne. I may attempt a coup at some point if she keeps saying stuff like belfies. But what I do need to do is toss a big hug to the Calgary Arts Development, the Rose Foundation, and the Calgary Foundation. A big ol' large hug. There will be a fun update to this little blurb next episode. So freaking stay tuned for that. But until then, the intro music you just heard and the outro music you're about to hear is by Alexander Kalman. All graphic design has been done by Morgan Ermter for The Breakfast Dish. And if you are doing some kind of socially distant online, or maybe just doing your best to make some freaking art in this time, we want to hear about it. Send us an email at thebreakfastdish@gmail.com. And also, we're on all of your favorite podcast places, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think I got an email from someone from Spreaker the other day, which is very interesting. I think that's the podcast hosting site. It was odd. Anyway, write us a review. Give us those freaking 5 stars. Come on, you guys. Save me from being a battery ever again. Karen, what else is going on this week?
Oh, Griffin, my lovely battery, I love you. Guandac Theatre in Whitehorse is presenting February 26th and 27th. They are presenting at 8:30 p.m. Have you tried this? That's what it's called. Have you tried this? And the good blurb is, maybe you've tried something similar, but have you tried this? You've heard that a person can tell a story, but have you heard them improvise a speech? Impress you with a skill you didn't know they had? Share their hidden musical proficiency for the accordion? That's me. Rant and rave about why cats are far more superior than dogs. So it's a night of creation from Dawson City and area artists. The lineup is yet to be announced, but 7 p.m., not 8:30. Friday, 26th at 7 p.m., Saturday, 27th at 7 p.m. And it's a live event, but if you want to watch it later without the live hosts, you absolutely can do that. And you should go to Guandac Theatre's website, which is, and I'm going to spell it for you, GWAANDAK theater.ca, and find out all about that. And the other thing is, Griffin, what's my favorite play of all time?
Almost Maine.
You're right. And the
Really?
Ernest Manning High School students in Calgary have filmed and are releasing and are showing their production of Almost Maine by John Cariani. I can't wait. It's video on demand March 4th and 5th. Tickets are available online and they are pay what you wish. So you go to www.showtix4u, SHOWTIX, number4u.com so that you can watch Almost Maine. Trust me, it is the most beautiful play, and watching teens do it is adorable. That's all I have to say about that.
That was actually the play our youth program was doing this year before we had to cancel.
I know. I love it. So now you have to watch that, Hannah. I'm totally watching that. I love that play.
Listeners, I just want to say that I know that I missed a comedic moment when Karen asked me what her favorite play was. I should have said something awesome like Motherfucker with a Hat or something like that. That would have been great. But I really did chonk it. Hannah, how we like to end the Breakfast Dish episodes is we'll ask you a question, a breakfast themed question that Karen makes up on the spot because she's a professional improviser. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
When your baby is born and is having their first solid food, what's the weirdest thing you could feed them?
Pickled herring.
Yes! I want to meet your kid.
They're going to be something else.
Don't let Karen meet your kid. Yeah, she'll throw rocks and she'll turn it into a battery. So that's not...
I will not.
I figured I'll just give them to a stage manager for a few years, and when they come back, they're the most well-behaved baby ever.
Yep, it's absolutely true. Give the baby to Zach. Wait.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Zach, if you're listening, this is your future.
Zach, please call us.
Raise my baby.
Zach, this is important, Zach.
Hannah, you've been it's been awesome to see you again, awesome to talk to you. And I just love Fort McMurray Arts, so it's wonderful to talk to somebody who's as passionate about it as I am.
Thank you very much for listening to the Breakfast Dish. Back to the farms for old tuppence.
Thank you so much for having me. Tack så jättemycket. This has been fantastic and wonderful. Och jag är jättetacksam för att få vara här.
This has been The Breakfast Dish.